How do tracks actually end up getting played by the biggest DJs in the world? Because most producers misunderstand how this actually happens. It's not about spamming DJs with promos via email or tagging them on Instagram. And it's also not hoping that DJs will magically find your tracks on Beatport or SoundCloud. In reality, most big DJs play music that they trust performs very well. So how do you become one of those trusted producers? In this video, I'm going to break down the worst ways to get DJ support, the methods that actually work, and the best tools producers use to consistently get played on the biggest stages by the biggest DJs and played on the biggest radio shows. I personally had my music played to crowds of tens of thousands of people. One radio show support alone got me over 100,000 Spotify monthly listeners for over a year. So let me show you how to maximize your chances, starting with two very important things to understand. Big DJs don't want to spend hours digging through thousands of promos that are sent to them just to find one hidden gem. They mostly pay attention to the labels they trust, artists they are already aware of and follow, recommendations from people in their DJ circle, and music that's already been proven to work. So the real goal isn't how do I get them to play my music, it's how do I get my music on the DJ's radar in a trustworthy way. That's a big difference, and it's a total mindset shift. Number two, the music still needs to be ready. Obviously, none of this matters if your track isn't of a high enough quality that the DJ is going to want to play it. But this also doesn't mean that you need to have the best track in the world before sending to DJs. They're mostly looking for tracks that work well on the dance floor, fit their style of their sets, and sound professional enough to work on a big system. Doesn't need to be perfect. A lot of tracks don't get played simply because the groove isn't strong enough, the mixdown isn't balanced enough, and the track just doesn't really fit that DJ's sound, or maybe they just don't like it. And honestly, one of the biggest mistakes I actually see is producers that are sending their tracks too early to these DJs. If you send tracks that aren't good enough to these DJs and they end up opening them and listening, then chances are they're not going to want to keep opening stuff from you based off of that first impression. Before trying to get the biggest DJs to support your music, focus on making tracks that are getting consistent support from smaller or even mid-sized DJs. The good news is that you absolutely do not have to be some big DJ for this to happen. You can literally have 0 followers, but as long as your music resonates with that artist, they may play it. In fact, a lot of DJs actually prefer finding really niche tracks from smaller artists because the exclusivity and mystery behind that fuels a good DJ set. Any DJ can play popular tracks. That's super easy. Great DJs know when a track is a hidden gem before it becomes popular. So if your music genuinely fits their sound, then your chances can be higher than you probably think. All right, I'm going to start now with the worst ways to get DJs to play your music and work my way up to the absolute best ways with the highest probability of a big DJ playing your track on those massive festival systems. The worst thing that you can do is spam DJs. Repeated Instagram messages, tagging them constantly, sending them multiple emails. Not only does this not usually work, but it actually can damage your reputation. Remember, some DJs receive like over 1,000 promos per week. You do not want to be one of those people that's just getting filtered right into the trash bin. Another mistake people make is just hoping that these DJs will somehow find their music either on Beatport or Spotify or SoundCloud. Sometimes this does happen. Most of the time, it doesn't. You could have the best track in the world, but if nobody hears it, then nobody's going to play it. Of course, getting high up in the Beatport charts can definitely help, but a lot of pro DJs prefer playing music before it's actually released to the public. Again, that gives them that sense of exclusivity and edge over other DJs who don't have those tracks yet. And don't send 15 tracks at once. Send max 2 or 3 of your best tracks. That's it. Moving on to lower probability, but still possible, and it happens. Signing to smaller labels. One of the first real ways of getting your tracks played by these bigger DJs is signing to smaller, respected labels. Labels act as filters for quality. DJs will trust certain labels and look to them for new music when they're getting sent the promos from the label. Most labels will take your signed music and send it to DJs weeks or even months before the release date. Again, giving them that exclusivity that they want, and in return they download the tracks from the labels, which gives the labels and yourself more publicity. So instead of relying on a DJ just hopefully opening up your email, then maybe this label has a better relationship with that artist and they will send it to them and they will hopefully open it, like your track, and play it. Obviously, the bigger the label, the bigger potential for the bigger DJ pool that will be getting sent those tracks. But even small, respected, good quality labels still have good relationships with some of the bigger DJs. One thing I recommend is checking out 1001tracklist.com and figuring out which DJs are playing which labels more often. Chances are those are the labels that are sending those tracks to those DJs, and you can target them and try to sign your music to those labels specifically. And by the way, I have a video that actually explains how to figure out which labels to get signed to, so I'll put that up in the link right here because that part matters a lot. Handing a DJ a USB can work, but it has to be done in a way that feels organic or at least professional. I've literally had USBs thrown at me on stage. I didn't even interact with the person. Don't do that. Keep the interaction interaction short, be calm, be professional. Don't corner them for 10 minutes when they're trying to prepare for their set or just relax backstage. Try to make a quick, good impression, hand them the USB, thank them, and move on. I'll talk a little bit more about this later as well. By the way, I covered this topic a bit more in depth on the Creative Hub. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. You can also find free checklists, free sample packs, and a bunch more educational content that you should absolutely check out. All right, moving on to good ways, higher probability of getting your music played. One of the best strategies is actually not sending music directly to these DJs, but sending it to people inside of their close circle. Who opens for them? Who do they play with very often? Who are they collaborating with? Which smaller artists are connected to those bigger artists that are maybe much more approachable and easy to contact and network with? And honestly, a lot of underground music spreads kind of like privately between DJs before the public even hears it. And this is actually how I got signed to Sudbeat, Hernan Catano's label. My friend Simply City had been playing my unreleased tracks for a few months. He thought the team at Sudbeat would like one of those tracks. He showed it to them, and this is how I actually signed my track Lost Signal. This is before I had a direct contact to the label owner, which can be very hard to get the contacts of these big DJs. Most of the time, these contacts are spread very, very carefully within the trusted circles of those DJs. And honestly, most of the ways to get those contacts is to be within some sort of inner circle that works closely with that artist. Getting direct contact with these bigger DJs, of course, is very valuable, which is exactly why their contacts aren't public. A lot of DJs actually just like randomly message me asking me if I'll send my music to these big DJs on their behalf, or they ask for their contact, and I'm not willing to give it to them. Most of the time, these contacts are passed down in trusted circles, and that's why building your reputation and networking is so important. These things take time and consistency. A good rule of thumb is that if you get this contact's email of this big DJ, it should be because you're ready for them to play your music. Timing matters way more than people think. A week or two before a DJ plays a 12-hour marathon set, they need a lot of music. If it's festival season, send them daytime tracks. If it's winter, maybe more club-oriented tracks. Try to think of the schedule of the DJ and send your music appropriately for that schedule. If you ever meet a DJ backstage, don't try too hard. Don't be fake, just be calm and professional. They meet hundreds of people every single event. Don't ramble, don't immediately pitch your tracks to them and tell them this person played it and you'll love this track. Honestly, your first goal shouldn't even be for them to play your track. It should just be to make a good connection. That is so much more important long-term. My motto for this is get in, make a good impression, and then get out. Don't linger, don't make it awkward, because that is just the worst. And then if the interaction goes well, and then maybe that's when you can ask them, hey, do you mind if I get your contact so I can send you some promos? If you're lucky enough to play or to book these DJs yourself, you can usually go for dinner with the DJs and promoters before the show. This is a great way to casually network, low pressure, don't bring up music the whole time, just try to make a genuine connection. This is how I became friends with one of my favorite producers. We played together in Budapest, I went for dinner with him, and afterwards he gave me his personal contact to send him music. The following weekend he messaged me just to let me know that he played some of my tracks and that they performed really well on the dance floor. It was pretty surreal and very validating to me as an artist, and a very, very valuable asset to have. All right, moving on to the best ways to get your tracks played. And this one seems obvious, but make music they can't ignore. And I don't mean make the greatest track they've ever heard. I mean make music that genuinely benefits their sets. Maybe it's a track with a super unique drop. There is a really, really great breakdown, super emotional, a massive groover track that is just an absolute melter, or simply a track that just really resonates with the crowd. Honestly, really solid tracks go a very long way. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It doesn't even need to be an amazing track. Just sometimes a very solid club-oriented track fits very well in one of these DJ sets. Honestly, one thing that can really help your track stand out to the bigger DJs is by having vocals in your music. Not every track needs vocals, of course, but vocals can instantly make a track more memorable, more emotional, and it can sometimes help the crowd connect with the music. A lot of producers struggle with finding vocals that work for their music. You can hire a vocalist, you can sing yourself, or you can use royalty-free samples. But one thing that I notice a lot of the time is producers run into this problem where they find a sample that they like or record a take that they like, but it doesn't really fit the tone of the track. A tool you can use for that is today's sponsor, Audemy. Basically, Audemy allows you to take vocal recordings or samples and converts them into different versions of those samples or recordings. You can change the characteristic, the gender, basically choosing a different singer to sing the sample that you already have. This is especially useful for testing out ideas, making edits of the tracks. You're not just using the original vocal, but making something a little bit different. Maybe you sing it yourself and want it to sound a bit different, or taking a sample from somewhere like Splice and making it more your own, so a bunch of other producers don't have the exact same one. So I'll quickly show you. This is Audemy. We convert vocals. You can choose the vocalist here, which is pretty cool. You have all the different characteristics of how they sound. You can test them out.
I was listening to you, so we can let it go, 'cause
So I chose Felicia. I can grab the vocal sample directly from Ableton and drop it in.
She's like poison ivy.
I'll pitch it up maybe like 8 semitones so that it's in the key of my track. Conversion strength I'll put to about 70%. I don't need to remove any of the instrumental, background vocals, reverbs because there's nothing in the vocal sample. Hit convert and take a listen.
she's like poison ivy, deadly for me, deadly for me.
I can download that and throw that into my Ableton.
She's like poison ivy, deadly for me, deadly for me.
One more example with another voice. I can choose Haley. I'll only push this one up 4 semitones, same conversion strength. I'm going to remove the reverb and the echo from this wet vocal sample.
Oh, I'm drowning in your ocean eyes.
And it sounds like this.
Oh, I'm drowning in your ocean eyes. I never had a chance.
So honestly, vocals are a great way to make your track stand out to these bigger DJs. And just to be clear, I personally still think that vocalists shouldn't be replaced with AI. You can use this as a creative tool to manipulate the vocals you're already working with, not to replace vocalists entirely. If you want to check out Automate, I'll put a link in the description below. One very effective strategy is making bootleg edits, unofficial remixes, private versions, or remixes of recognizable songs, because they give DJs that, again, that exclusivity. Don't release it publicly, just send it to them and just let them know that it's private, because big DJs love playing stuff that's unreleased, especially if it's something familiar that's been reimagined. The crowd usually loves it. Set yourself apart by giving the DJ something that is an absolute weapon to use in live sets. Chances are going way up. They're going to want to play that. Now, self-promote here. This is actually exactly what happens in my track with Maze Zayer called Avalon. The track is fairly traditional all the way until the final drop. The big payoff in that track with the lead melody and the big energy on the drop got me tons of support, and it got the track into #2 on Beatport Top 10. I have 2 more things that are massively going to increase the chances of you getting support. I've already talked about them. This video right here is if you want to increase your chances of getting signed to bigger labels, and this one is if you actually want to find the right labels to sign to. If you have any questions regarding this video, comment below and I'll do my best to answer.